What's up, guys? So today I'm going to try something I've never done before, I guess. I'm going to try to modify some headlights with some demon eyes. So I've already done one, and I'm going to show you guys right here, sort of. I'm not very satisfied with it. I think the LED I put in is just too dim. So it's just a single little LED that I put in there. I've seen other people. I actually watched a video of one guy. He took a whole little strip of LEDs and put it inside, twirled around. But this is just one single LED that shines down, and that's sort of what it's looking like. I'm not very happy with it. I actually might take it apart later on and put a whole strip in there just to see if it brightens it up or not. But I am running it off just a little power supply right now. I haven't got it wired to 12 volts yet. So I guess I'm going to do the other side with this little one for now. Just really something to do, something to try out, something I've never done before. And then later on maybe we'll put some brighter ones in if we like the way everything turns out. So let's get this other headlight out and we'll start tearing it down. So I got the headlight out, sitting right there. What we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the stove and we're going to preheat it to probably about 220 or so. We'll do 215, that way it's not too hot and melts the plastic. We'll go ahead and preheat it, and what we're going to do is once it's preheated, we'll take the headlight and we'll put it in the oven, and then we'll pull out the lens, and this glue right here will soften up. We'll pop up all these tabs and we'll pull the lens out, and then we'll go ahead and put this red LED in. Okay, so our oven is heated up. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take this headlight housing and we're going to place it right here in the oven. We'll probably let it sit there for 5-6 minutes or something like that, just enough to get up the temperature, loosen up that glue, and then we'll go ahead, grab these screwdrivers, and we'll pop it open. So it should be good. Go ahead and grab it out. It's a little warm, so be careful if you're doing this on your own. We're just going to go in here. And just separate the headlight from the housing itself, the lens I should say, from the housing itself. It's a lot warmer than it was last time. And there you go. You got the lens off of the housing itself. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab Phillips to take these 4 screws off. Take this ring off, pop this lens out, and we're actually going to glue the LED up in here. When I actually do go through and get like a strip, I'll probably just put a strip all the way around the inside of this housing, and then it will reflect inside the lens. So I'm gonna go grab a screwdriver real quick and we're gonna start pulling this apart. Okay, so we got our screwdriver. Just gonna go ahead and take these 4 screws out. Oh, there goes one of the screws. I didn't think it was a magnetical screwdriver. Turns out it is. So, 4 screws. Grab our lens. And I guess we'll place it right here. Hopefully it don't get scratched. So, this is the bottom, and this is the top. So we're going to head and glue it up here up at the top. The same thing I did in the last one. So I'm going to go ahead and get some epoxy. I'm going to mix it up and get some Q-tips. And we'll go ahead and place that light in there. And so we got our epoxy right here. I'm going to go ahead and mix it all up. I've already put the light in there and put it sort of right around where I put the other one. So we're going to mix this epoxy up. I'm going to go ahead and set it right around there. And put the glue in there. It's actually dripping a little bit. It didn't drip last time. I'm just going to hold it there for a little bit, let it cure, and once it's hard enough to hold itself up, we'll go ahead and put everything back together. So the glue is hardened. It's in there pretty good. It's not moving. So we're going to take this wire right here and feed it out the back of the housing. That way when we go to wire it up in the car, we have what we need to plug it up. This one's been a little bit more stubborn than that last one was. And there we go, we got that pulled through, glued in, pulled through. Pop the lens back in. And we'll go ahead and put this bracket back on. Now I believe it's this screw right here, the hardest one to get to. So I'm going to put it in first. Go ahead and snug them down. I don't believe they'll come loose, but just to be on the safe side, I'll put a little tension on them. So last time I'm going to put this together, or I'm going to put the other one back together, the glue hardened up. It's not as sticky anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back in here, and hopefully it'll soften the glue up enough to where I can put it back together and it'll go easier. So I'll grab this here in a couple minutes and we'll go ahead and try to put it back together. Okay, so let me sit in there a little while. Go ahead and take this housing back out. Take this lens out. I got a little heat in them. So it's gonna go back together like this. Push it all together. Make sure all the clips that are still intact and not broken are clipped like they're supposed to be. And that one actually went together a lot better than the other one. It's actually seated in there pretty good. So that's pretty much the installation of the LED into the housing and light itself. So now let's go out here. And let's get all this put back together and we'll see what it looks like. So feed this way. And plug in there. That'll cover all that. Then we'll go ahead and grab our HID. Be careful not to touch it with your fingers or hit it and break it on anything. We'll line it up how it's supposed to go in there. Actually, I think it's supposed to go in there like this. And then we'll take this. Get it clipped in where it goes. Slide that back over. And then we've got a bunch of LEDs. These two go on the bottom. These will actually be for the halo rings. So one pop in right there, and then we'll insert the plug. And then grab the other one, insert the plug, make sure it's popped in right so it don't fall out or anything. It really doesn't seem like it wants to go in properly. I think it went in that time. That should be good. Pop in the plug. Now I actually think if I can get these to look pretty good when I put the LED strip in, if it brightens up, or even if I put 12 volts to these, because like I said, I was just running off that little battery pack, so once they're under 12 volts, it might actually brighten up and look a lot better. So if they look decent, I've actually got projectors on the Supra, so I'll probably pop halos into those, not halos, but demon eyes into those too. High beam, low beam, 3 LEDs on the side, 2 on the bottom, and light right there. And then we go ahead and slide that in there. Make sure this stays on there. Slide that in. Do that one wrong. Oh crap, I gotta put that on top. Okay, so that's up there. And that right there. So we'll sit in there like that. I still gotta put these gaskets on. But I kind of want to get these wired up, get into 12 volts, see what they look like. I might even back it out a little bit so I can see it more from the front. 12 volts to it, and with the rest of the lights on, other than the headlights themselves. I'll turn the parking lights on, so I'll have halos and LEDs, and we'll see what it looks like. But let's see if we can get these demons wired up real quick. So I have to say, with 12 volts, right now it's sort of rigged up. I actually just got speaker wire running because they're LEDs, they're not going to draw a lot, and I got this bag to separate them so the positive and negative don't touch. This is sort of just to test it out. I'm not keeping anything like this, but they got a lot brighter. I have to say this looks pretty freaking sweet. Let's go ahead and turn the halos on. Oh, the halos didn't turn on. I wonder why they didn't turn on. And only one of my projectors turned on. I'm gonna have to figure out why the halos aren't turning on. None of my LEDs are turning on, actually. I'm gonna have to double check why that is. Everything was working before. Let's go ahead and turn the lights off and see what it looks like. A little darker. It's actually almost too dark to see. Yeah, that looks pretty sick. Once I get those halos lighting up like they're supposed to, I think it'll look a lot better. So I'll get the wiring wired up to where probably more than likely the demon eyes will turn on when the halos turn on with the parking lights, because that would just be right here. Technically the halos should be on and the demons would be on with the marker lights. Everything would be on. These 3 LEDs here would be on both sides. And then once I turn the actual headlight on, oh no, I turned it off. Once I turn the actual headlight on, the headlight actually will overcome the red. I mean, you can still see it coming out of the actual lens itself, but as color-wise and everything, it just looks like a normal headlight. So that's probably how I'll end up running it. I think it's gonna look pretty sick. Still don't know what I'm gonna do with the hood exactly. I've actually been looking at some other colors. I think Ford has a tuxedo black or something like that. It's a pearl black. But we'll see. We'll get to that. Really, really happy with that. Definitely going to try to do it on the Supra. And then the engine for the Supra, actually, I just honed the cylinders. I just gapped all the rings. So all the piston rings are gapped. And then I got my Cleveite bearings. Cranks right there, polished, balanced. Pistons and rods are right there. They're all balanced. I do have to swap out one rod because they accidentally put the bad rod back on. I got all the parts cleaned, all the parts painted. I do believe tomorrow I'm going to take the block to the machine shop. I've got a straight edge that's true, it's straight, and put it on here, and I didn't see anything wrong with the deck surface itself, but I do want to get it clean. So I think I'm just going to have them like resurface it, just because like right there you got some textured stuff, and I just want it as smooth as possible. I don't want any issues. And then I have Brian Crower springs coming, springs retainers, and stage 3 cam. So I'll be running a stage 3 cam in the Supra. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to take apart the entire head and send it to the machine shop and have them clean it all because it's filthy and resurface the head. So I'll have true surfaces on both sides. I still have my HKS stopper MLS head gasket right there. I have my ARP head studs right here, and my ARP main studs are actually cleaned and they're already screwed into the bottom just so I don't lose them and I keep everything together. So that engine is coming along awesomely. Everything's going really good so far. Everything's been checking out. The crank was good, the pistons were good, everything's been good, everything's gravy. I have on the way a whole gasket set, so I'll have all the gaskets to put everything back together. ARP flywheel bolts, because actually in the old crank I broke a flywheel bolt. I'm going to turn these lights off and unwire everything. That way I don't have any issues with fires or anything like that. So, I actually did break, I don't know if you can see it right there, I broke off a bolt and I just left it there. I was just like, fuck it, I want it done. This was like the 3rd or 4th clutch I put in this car. They were all slipping because it was just making too much torque for them, and I was tired of it. So I just threw it together and it did good. It held up. I never had a single issue. All the bolts were still tight when I took it apart. My pilot bearing is still good, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it or get a new one. But ARP flywheel bolts are coming. The gaskets are coming. I got the bearings. I got the piston rings. So basically the the bottom end can be done. I want to get a crossover tube. If you see this banjo bolt right here, I think I talked about it before in another video, but this is a banjo bolt, and basically it's a bolt that has a hole through it, and there's holes drilled straight across. So there's one hole that goes all the way through the bolt and down the middle. So when oil goes through it, it squirts out those 2 holes, and this little coupler housing, whatever you want to call it, is grooved in the middle, so all the oil squirts into it and then goes through this tube. It's supposed to be very restrictive, so I want to go get the crossover tube from Drift Motion, I believe. So we'll have that. So oil pressure shouldn't be a big deal at all. The ATI dampener I have to order. I ordered the crank bolt that goes in the front that's set up for the ATI dampener, because the original one won't work. It will, but you have to machine it. So I just bought the other one. It was like $25. I'll have a new one. I won't have any worries about it being stressed or stretched or old or any issues like that. So I have a lot of new parts coming for the engine. I've been cleaning it up as much as I can. And I'm super excited to get this thing together. I've decided that I am just going to say screw it and plumb the thing for E85. When it goes back together, I will be running E85. Even if it has to sit here till next year, I'm just done with pump gas. I can't push it as hard as I want to, as far as I want to. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. If I'm putting money into it and doing everything like I want to, I'm just going to do it right the first time. So that's pretty much where we're at, I believe, with everything. Yeah. So go ahead, if you haven't yet, subscribe, because we've got a lot of big things coming with this car and a lot of big things coming with that car. If you like what you saw, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you've got a project you're working on, because I love to hear other people's projects. I like to see what other people are doing. crazy stuff, normal stuff, just anything. So go ahead and leave some love down there, and I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one.